It seems to be a growing trend for Marvel actors to attack the MCU and question the quality of the franchise, as Iman Vellani recently did it when talking about the problems that the MCU has and how they need to correct them moving forward in the future. And now we get to Tom Holland, who's also holding the entire company of Disney Marvel accountable as well. As Tom Holland in a recent interview has revealed that he won't just make a Spider-Man 4 for the sake of making a sequel, but that the movie must do justice to his character and must be a good story. Which is something that Marvel's been failing to do as of late. All you have to do is go look at whatever the hell it is that they did to Thor.
Let's see who you are. I take off your disguise. And flick.
Oh, you flipped too hard, damn it!
Comedy.
But Tom Holland also went into further detail, saying the following. All I can say is that we have been actively engaging in conversations about what it could potentially look like for a fourth rendition of my character, but whether or not we can find a way to do justice to the character is another thing. And it doesn't look good, as Tom Holland has clearly revealed that they've been having conversations about the future of Spider-Man, and he's still unsure about whether or not Marvel can do his character justice. But this right here is what we need more of. We need more actors holding the MCU accountable to their characters and being protective over the hero that they play. Because when it comes to the MCU, especially in Phase 4 and 5, they've made so many films that were just pointless to make, and they just came across as money-grabbing sequels. And we need these actors to hold Marvel accountable and say, no, you're only going to make another movie with my character if the story is worth telling and if you actually create a real character arc, because you can go and look at Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, in which his character had no character arc whatsoever in his own sequel, showing that the reason they made that sequel was clearly just to get money and introduce a completely new character in America Chavez, but it wasn't to continue the story of Doctor Strange in a good way. And it would be an absolute shame if that happened to Spider-Man, so I'm so happy that Tom Holland is holding Marvel accountable and isn't going to let them make another film just for the sake of making another film. But don't be surprised if Tom Holland gets Henry Cavilled and gets fired from the studio and then called a toxic fan himself for just wanting to do his character justice. And this also answers our questions over why there hasn't been any updates around Spider-Man. And many people were thinking this had something to do with the ongoing rights war between Disney and Sony when it comes to Spider-Man, but turns out it's just Tom Holland doing his job and protecting his character from being absolutely destroyed by the current state of the MCU.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go, sir. Please. Please, I don't want to go.
And these Marvel actors speaking out about the quality of their stories has clearly scared Disney, as Bob Iger recently admitted that Disney's made too many Marvel sequels.
Oh, and you're a regular Rhodes Scholar. Where was it you graduated from again? The University of Duh.
But my question is, how did you only realize this now? I mean, surely you couldn't have thought that making a Black Panther 2 without Black Panther would actually work. And surely you couldn't have thought that the Marvels, starring the most boring superhero of all time, who has zero flaws and is basically Superman without the kryptonite, would also make for a good sequel. And on top of that, while he says they've made too many sequels, he's currently in production for Captain America 4 without Captain America.
It's so dumb.
So honestly, how do you only realize this now? Bob Iger is way too smart to actually have thought that these films were worthwhile to tell and that these films would actually make a good story. But in my opinion, I think he thought the MCU was too big to fail and that they would be able to make sequels not even starring the character that the movie's called and still bring in $1 billion because they were seeing so much success for so long. But I do think he overestimated the power of Marvel and has clearly learned his lesson that people won't just go out and watch any movie just because it has the Marvel logo on it, and that fans genuinely just want to see a good story. And Bob Iger also went on to say that they need to be more realistic about the outcomes of their films and about how much money their movies can make, as he said the following in a recent statement. I mean, we got to the point where if a film didn't do $1 billion in global box office, we were disappointed. disappointed. That's an unbelievably high standard, and I think we have to get more realistic. But Bob, when budgets are nearly $300 million, and then you pay another $250 million for marketing, and then you also have to pay theater costs, and then a whole bunch of other payments that also come with a film, the only way in which the movie can succeed is if you make $1 billion. And it got to the point where budgets were so high, they needed to come close, if not cross $1 billion, just to make a single cent of profit when it came to these films. So no, your standards weren't too high, it was your budgets that were too high.
I give it to you. You got me there.
And you can't act like these movies were still successful even though they didn't make $1 billion, as it's well documented that the Marvels has lost millions of dollars for the company of Disney. So you can't make a statement like this and act like the problem was that you expected too much from your films and that they were still successful, but because you had such high expectations they felt like failures. No, these movies genuinely were failures as they didn't make a single dollar for the company of Disney. But it's not all doom and gloom, as Bob Iger revealed that Disney's priority is to turn the MCU around and get back to creating quality Marvel movies again, and that excites me because when Marvel's doing well, the entire company of Disney's doing well, and not only that, the entire cinema industry is also doing well, as Marvel brings so many people into the theater to watch its movies that they end up sitting down and watching movie trailers for other films and getting excited for those movies as well. So movies as a whole, the entire Hollywood industry reaps the benefits of Marvel doing well, and Marvel plays such a key role in keeping theaters alive, in keeping movies alive, and they bring so much to the table for the cinema industry. And all you have to do is go back to 2019, which was Marvel's peak year, and you can see how cinema reaped the rewards, as there were countless movies like 1917 and Jojo Rabbit, which got so much hype at the cinema because people were continuing to go out to the theaters because of these Marvel movies, because they were flocking to the cinema to watch films like Spider-Man Far From Home, to watch films like Avengers Endgame, and they would also get excited for these other movies that they would also see advertised when they were there to watch Marvel. So I think it's great news that Disney's priority is to turn the MCU around. However, it's not as simple to just say that they're going to scale back on sequels and that they're going to turn the MCU around. The only way in which you can truly do that is by actually creating good stories that honor the legacy of these heroes and not making movies like Thor Love and Thunder, Ant-Man Quantumania, or whatever the hell She-Hulk was. So like I said, it's good news, but it may just be way too late for the MCU to truly turn it around, and I don't think we're going to see the MCU back making billions at the box office until 2026 at the earliest, because it's going to take a lot of time to actually develop some good movies again and get back to focusing on the heroes that everyone loves. But what are your thoughts on this situation? Let me know down below in the comments. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all on my next video.